Okay, we're live. Welcome from behind enemy lines to Shooting with Disabilities at Rick's Life as I see it. A 1 hour show, if that we go that long, talking about shooting with disabilities, guns, politics, whatever else crosses our mind. Basically the same as the Saturday show. Um, Answer questions from viewers either in the chat box or email me at Rick's Life as I see it at gmail.com or at spottedrick at gmail.com. Either way. Also, normally within 24 hours of the broadcast ending, I have this on podcast, iTunes, and Twitcher. Or is it Twitter or Snitcher? Snitcher. My mistake. For your audio pleasure, also broadcasting simultaneously on YouTube and gun channels. Hey, Grim, Vlogs, Two Live Moo, good to see ya. Dead Horse, good you're all here. My guests haven't arrived yet. I know Wheelchair won't be here tonight because he's out celebrating his nephew's birthday. So I don't know who might show up and who won't, but that's okay. I can wing it for at least 30 minutes on my own. If we go longer, we go longer. Hey, Raphael, good to see you. You know, as you know, the shooting with disabilities, and as I said in the past, that's why I have Wheelchair and David on normally to help me with this because it's even though there's a lot of handicapped people out there and there's a lot of handicapped stuff out there, a lot of it is individual. Each person, let's see if you can hear me better. Pull the mic in a little bit. Each person does their own little thing, to help themselves type thing. Basically, it's not one thing fits all when it comes to a handicap or a whatever you want to call what you have, you know, your problem. I mean, you don't have to be, you don't have, I mean, even suffering from arthritis to me is a disability, you know. Uh, have one arm longer than the other is disability. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. You don't have to, where I'm trying to get is you don't have to be, i.e., getting Social Security disability and have a handicap placard for your vehicle to be on this show, as far as I'm concerned. You know, but no, I think it's just another excuse to have another show. To be honest with you, and I happen to have a disability, so I don't mind freely talking about it. You know, but anyway, where I was going with this is I was having a chat was over the weekend or the other day. It was more to do with the Second Amendment stuff and the perception of what how people perceive firearms. You know, they perceive them as a weapon of some sort to do damage, and we have got to change that perception. And somebody happened to mention this. Well, that where Smith and Wesson came out with the name Shield for their guns. You know, which I thought was which I didn't look at it that way until somebody mentioned it the other day. You think about it, they twisted it instead of making it an offensive thing, they made it a defensive thing. You have this Smith and Wesson shield to protect yourself. Okay, now where does that go with disabilities? I mean, as everybody knows, besides all the other issues I do have arthritis in the hands. You know, does being married to Clover count as a disability? Absolutely. Good to see you there, the gun wife, 94. You changed your name again. So, there you go. Hey, Michael. So, anyway, where I was going with this is I was looking at the shield. I was thinking about this for people with, severe sort of hand or finger issues. Is the Smith and Wesson M&P 380 Easy. I know 380 to me would be the lowest I would like to go for a carry gun. But from what I can understand and what I've seen of one, I saw one in the gun shop and stuff. Um, the the three. I mean, the it racks real easy. Even I can do it when my hands are hurting the worst. I feel. You can rack it with just your thumb and finger if you need to. It racks very easily. I found. Hey, Tony. Didn't expect to see you here this late. If I known you were going to be on, hang on. Let's see if I can get this. Copy. If anybody wants to join me on the panel, there's a link in Gun Channels. And let's see, I'll put a link over in YouTube. If you want to join me on the panel, feel free. So there we go. But I'm saying that to me, that would be a way to keep on shooting with once your hands get so bad. Hey Tony, good to see you.
Hey Rick, how's it going?
All right, not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Good to hear.
Yeah, I was just talking about. I was going on about the 380 shield, easy. For like somebody with a severe arthritis in their fingers and hands. I mean, that's the lowest I would go for a defensive carry pistol was a 380. But how easy it is to rack the slide and stuff. I mean, I don't own one, but I played around with one at the range. Somebody had one, so it seemed quite easy. Hey Rich.
They say that Walther CCP is supposed to be easier on the hands, but the one I got ain't.
Yeah. So yeah, that's when I'll just bring that up. I mean, as I was saying at the beginning of the show too, shooting with disabilities, it's a very personal thing too. Not one thing fits everybody. So it's hard for me to come up with ideas every week. So I just discuss a little bit and hope. That's normally why I have Wheelchair and David on with me, because they help me along with this kind of stuff. But unfortunately, Wheelchair won't be here tonight because he's, celebrating his nephew's birthday. And I haven't heard from David today. But there we go. That's how it goes. So you got me and Tony tonight so far. So unless anybody else wants to join us, the links are on Gun Channels and in YouTube. Feel free to jump in if you want to. That's it. That's where I was going with that is, on that. I was just, where I was going with that, Tony, I was thinking, what brought me on to that, and I'll repeat it again real quick, was Smith and Wesson's great ploy where, I don't know, you've heard me moan in the last few weeks about we need to change the perception of the firearm. And I never dawned on me when somebody said it. Well, that's what Smith and Wesson did. Instead of making it an offensive weapon by calling it a shield, they turned it into a defensive weapon, which is more acceptable, I feel. That's the kind of thing we need to do in this day and age. So.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but I don't know how the hell we managed to accomplish it.
Well, I don't either.
Hard to get two of us to fucking agree on. It's awful hard to get two of us to agree on anything.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's another discussion we were having for another night, maybe. It is. It's hard. It's hard for all of us to agree on one thing. I mean, like here's an example. I know a lot of people don't think much of them, but I was just I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, but there's a 45-minute video by Hickok at 45 and his son sitting in front of their targets talking about 2A rallies. You know, what they could do and getting people to follow them and all this and stuff. And I'm thinking, you two have 3.2 million subscribers. If you said we're going to hold a rally, I bet you would have the biggest crowd that anybody can get as a single entity. You know, hey, nice strike.
Hey, what's going on, Rick?
Yeah, but I don't know if that was true or not, but I would think it would be. So,
Well, you know, subscribers ain't really the thing. It's how many views they get on a video right up front. Because subscribers will come and go.
They do get a lot of views, you know. Well, they I'm not saying they are, but they are one of the biggest gun channels around. You know, so anyway, talking about that is I said this about disabilities, but I just wanted to bring this up. I also saw that Never Enough Ammo got his second strike. So he's all mad, which I don't blame him. You know, I would be too. You know. And what's really gotten him was he said this, the video they put the strike against, he said he made it private over a week and a half ago. So he says it's not some algorithm. They're actually out there looking. They can do what they want. Now, I don't want to sound like, well, maybe be devil advocates here. Don't take this personally, guys. I like Never Enough Ammo. But did he
it's personal.
I mean, did he get the strike before he turned it private a week and a half ago? How long does it have a strike against it before they notify you? You understand what I'm saying? Or before they get around to looking at it? That's my question. I don't know. What we need is what we need is Clover here, who reads all the small print.
The fine.
Oh, another thing is when it's private, that doesn't mean they can't see it.
Oh yeah, exactly. They can see anything on their because it's on their platform. That's what I was thinking, Sean. Sean said he got the strike retroactively. It took a while to get to it. That's what I'm thinking. You know, I didn't want to say I didn't want to sound like I wasn't on his side. I still think it's unfair. But
well, of course it's unfair.
You know, but I don't know what else we could do about it.
Night Strike's working on a solution.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm doing everything I can for GunTube, but I've hit the proverbial roadblock. Right now, it has become the roadblock which, makes or breaks, a website. You know what that is?
Money.
It's called funding. I've stretched it as far as I can for GunTube, but if I don't do a Kickstarter or get some sort of advertising agreement set up, GunTube is just going to stay as it is, unfortunately.
Yeah. So. Oh, I totally understand where you're coming from. And if I had, if I was out there still working and earning more money, than I get at Social Security, I would put a little your way if I could. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately,
right.
So.
But I'm working on it. I'm trying to do what I can that will mitigate the expenses on it right now. But that's why I'm doing it as I'm doing it. That's why I haven't gone and said, hey, everybody go use GunTube right now because it's ready to go. It's not ready to go, one. Two, there's still a lot of bugs that need to be ironed out of it. But, you're going to have that with any platform that's starting. Either they have funding or they don't have funding. I don't want to be the next VidMe by saying, oh, everybody use my platform and then say, oh, we don't have enough money, so we have to close up shop.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I
don't want to be that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I hear, Phoenix, Pornhub are selective who they want on their channel, believe it or not. So, where I was going with
Pornhub is?
what?
Pornhub is selective?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. You wouldn't think so, but they are. That's what I heard. But you know what I'm saying. I don't check out their channel, so I can't say from
Sure.
You know.
Well, I'm sure that they have a difficult time with advertising.
Yeah. But anyway, where I'm going back to our shooting with disabilities, I was thinking pretty soon, New Jersey, it won't matter if you're disabled or not, you ain't gonna be able to shoot in the USSR. You know. I mean, I don't know if you also got Tactical's video earlier today, but also an article I read where that university student, he was having a discussion with one of the professors in the classroom over the Second Amendment, and he happened to mention he was a gun owner. And a couple of weeks later, I'm paraphrasing this now. I'm not getting it word for word, but the gist is right. Is he got a letter from the school saying that he has to go for a psych evaluation to see if they still want him around the classroom because he's a gun owner, and see if he's going to be safe and stuff like that. And of course, the teacher they want to use is one from their own faculty. But luckily, he was smart enough to speak to somebody, and they put him in touch with the New Jersey Second Amendment Coalition. They said, tell them no and find out where they go from there. They say because they're backing him all the way. So that's good. And the second thing is, like Ghost Tactical said, that stupid politician they have there has put in a bill to ban all state employees, state government employees from traveling on government expense to any state that does not require their citizens to have a register of some sort of that they can buy a gun. And from what I've been told, there's only 13 states that do that. So there's 37 states that you cannot visit as an official from New Jersey. There's 37 states you cannot visit as an official. At this bill
I don't want them in South Carolina, so I'm happy about that.
You know,
you got to ask yourself, what business does a state employee for the state of New Jersey have visiting any state other than maybe one that borders New Jersey?
Oh, I
what
agree.
Business do they have?
Hopefully the bill won't pass, because if it does, can you imagine how many other states will jump on that bandwagon?
Well, yeah, but it sounds like one of those lip service bills. Like, look at me, I'm anti-gun. I'm going to pass a law that really has no bearing on anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But the average anti-gunner would be like, oh, he's anti-gun, good for him.
Yeah, I mean, it gives them a little notice in the press for a couple of weeks. But because my next question was, well, if they're going to do that, is how are they going to get their federal representative to D.C., because D.C. doesn't require their citizens to have a permit to buy a weapon.
They're an employee of the federal government, not the state.
True. But still comes from. I mean, see, that's how more like they get around it. You know. Here's another thing too: is everybody mentions like is it Illinois is one that has the card, and they mention New Jersey and all these other ones, California, but everybody forgets to mention Rhode Island. You know, Rhode Island, you have to get what they call a blue card. You have to take a 20-question test.
Rick, people forget to mention Rhode Island because you're as small as a county in any other state.
I know, but we send it into the state, and they send you a blue card, which allows you to buy a handgun. So it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
No, because the void card in Illinois is for all firearms, and the blue card is just for handguns, right?
That's the way I interpret it, yeah.
Yeah, because here in Michigan, we've got to register handguns, but long guns we don't have to. It's BS, but they don't make it a big deal here, and it's just more of a hassle than anything else.
But did you know
But
if they decide to confiscate your guns, they know who you are?
yeah,
You don't anywhere else.
I'm not saying I want to have a registry, but I'm really not that worried about it here. And the reason I'm not is because I forgot to register my gun. And when I went to them a year later and said, I just realized I didn't register it, they said, don't worry, the guy who sold it to you did, and you're cool. No problem. That's it. I thought for sure I was going to get in some sort of trouble. But I decided I would, and they were, no, you're fine. You're good. Don't worry.
That's good.
So that makes me think, now, if our local county sheriff, if we got somebody other than the guy that keeps getting reelected, and that guy was anti-gun, I might be a little bit worried. If our state attorney general, who's pro-gun, if he doesn't get reelected, I might get a little worried and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's a good thing. There's only one good thing about a firearm registration, honestly, and that's for your insurance. If you had a firearm stolen and the police, and there was a registry or whatnot, and the police found it years later or something, and you needed some sort of BS paperwork for your insurance, blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, firearm registry is crap. It's total crap. It doesn't stop any crimes. We know all that stuff. But yeah, I don't like that sort of thing at all. But around here, people are fairly pro 2A, and they just don't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, Rich, I was just talking about that. But then again, as Tony pointed out, right, the people going to Congress, they're not state employees, are they? They're federal employees. There's a difference, I guess, on where the money comes from. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I agree with you there, Squib. You know, that is the only one plus I can see of 1, 2. You know?
With the Illinois FOID system, they don't register the guns. You just have to have one of those bastards to be able to buy one. And it's a $11 fee for 10 years. So it's not one card per gun. It's just one card. Here, it's been all my freaking adult life that I can remember. I've had to have the damn thing. So it's just what it is.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I wanted to mention. Change the subject slightly. I know I didn't want to get off of this one, but I want to back to sort of like disabilities, which I'm hope is received an email from the gun club I belong to, and May 12th. I think it's May 12th. We got a Boy Scout troop coming, and we're supplying lunch for them, hot dogs, hamburgers, that sort of thing, and to teach them gun safety and let them shoot a pistol, a rifle, and a shotgun. The gun club supplying all that. Our members are, but where I'm going with is this: me being disabled and stuff. I can go and participate and be there on the line for each kid will have will be able to shoot a pistol. You know what I'm saying? Then one enough members there to help.
You sure they ain't wanting you to be a target?
Possible. Maybe they want me going back and forth to the target on my scooter. See if they can hit me. Yeah, no, but I thought was a pretty positive thing. I know Boy Scouts have the shooting merit badge or whatever, but very rarely do you ever hear of any Boy Scouts talking about it nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was pretty cool on our part. So doing that. That's where I wanted to. I just went. I mean, where I was going with that. If your club's doing something like that, a handicap shouldn't disqualify you from helping the kids out on the line and stuff like that. So there you go. Because there might be one of the kids might be in a wheelchair or something. You know what I'm saying? And to see somebody else shooting might help them feel more comfortable.
Christ, if you can shoot a gun, you have to be able to show somebody else how to.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, Rich hang on. Somebody mentioned about firearms as property on your insurance. On your homeowner's insurance, on your, say, renter's insurance, do they allow you to put guns on there?
You don't have to list them as specific property unless you put a rider on there. But if you don't do that, they're only going to cover a few.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I had to switch. I had to switch renter's insurance in order to get that because the company I had for years didn't cover them.
Yeah, because to be quite honest with you, right now, I think the only insurance I have is that stupid ass free one you get from the NRA. Right now, I haven't got, because my renter's insurance, I asked them about it, and they were hummed and hawed, and it was like, oh my God, I felt like I was a criminal, because I asked them.
You can get it, at least I did, through Progressive as just a freaking standalone insurance policy to cover.
No, I called them. Maybe it's something for your state, but Progressive would not insure my firearms.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's who I have right now myself. And I said,
it's gotta be a state by state thing then.
Yeah. So, yeah, so I need to look into, because I mean, to be honest with you, I couldn't afford to lose any, either stolen or in a fire, or, you know what I'm saying? Because if I lost any, I wouldn't be able to afford to replace them right now.
Well, that NRA stuff only covers, I think, $2,500, and if you buy additional insurance, it's outrageously expensive.
Oh yeah, I just got the free thing for the $2,500 right now. I thought that was better than nothing.
Yeah, it is better than nothing. It won't replace crap, but it is better than nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So I need to look into that. So
I got a $30,000 rider, and it cost me about $35 a month.
Oh, it ain't bad.
No, it ain't bad.
That ain't bad at all.
Goddamn, I know I got it through Progressive.
Well, it might vary from state to state. I mean, Progressive here, they didn't say they wouldn't, but the way they made me feel like I was a criminal, so I didn't pursue it. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, I mean, maybe you're perceiving more than they're actually putting out there.
Or it might have been. Maybe it was that they wouldn't cover they had a, yes, you know what it is? They had a cap, I think it was, and their cap wouldn't cover my insurance, and I needed a company that would my insurance. The cap wouldn't cover the value. I wanted replacement value on everything, and I had to switch companies. That's what it was. So I'm sorry, I misspoke. And I think for mine, I think it's like an extra $100 a year on my renter's insurance for it, and it covers. It's a bigger policy than Tony's.
Yeah, mine is a specific.
So I think it's. Well, what happened was my agent said, "Look, if you want this sort of policy on this dollar amount, you've got to go to this company." He said, "But I'll do you one better. We can actually get you renter's insurance through them that is equivalent to your current renter's insurance, a company you've had for years that won't give you coverage on your firearms for less money. So just switch to these guys, and then we'll put the rider on there, and then you're covered, 100%. So in the end, it ended up working out. I ended up getting insurance on my firearms that I never had, and I got a better rate on my policy. But I never had Progressive for renters, only on auto, and that's why I thought maybe I could get that bundled discount. But it must be something about my zip code or something like that, because every time I checked Progressive just for renters, they were 4 times higher than everybody else, and I don't know why. I mean, they're a good company.
But they are expensive. I noticed they are in this state. And I've noticed about all insurance companies. The longer you're with them, the higher your insurance goes, per se. Because if you cancel for a year, go back to them, you get a lower rate than what you ended with them at. You know,
Is Sean McCoy out in the chat?
he was.
Sean Connery, is he out?
He was out there. Is he still out there, Sean?
Hey, just to talk about Progressive again, they will not insure a military truck either.
Yeah, he's out there. They won't insure a military truck. Okay. Yeah, he says he's out. He's still out there listening to us ramble on. So, yeah. So, oh hell, forgot what I was going to say there. Yeah, talking about insurance. I said I've done that. Is there's no such thing as loyalty anymore. I don't think. You know, when it comes to these, I mean, here's a good example. I mean, my phone service I use Verizon, my wireless. I've been with Verizon before they were Verizon. I've been with them since the year 2000. You know, if I call them up and ask them a question about something, and they'll say, "Thank you for being a customer since," then normally the young girl on the other end goes, "From when?" They go 2000. I said, "Yeah." I said, "That was before you were born, wasn't it?" You know, but I said, "Doesn't mean?" I mean, it doesn't mean anything anymore, though. I mean, I've been with them for 18 years. Will it get me? It might get me a cup of coffee if I'm lucky. You know what I'm saying? But they don't care. That's where I'm going with insurance companies. They don't care if you've been with them for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's why I shop around for car insurance every year, because I refuse to be bought into that scam. Because I happened to, I was with what you call it for years. Oh God, my brain's goddamn the little lizard.
Geico.
Yes, I was with Geico for years on my truck.
Because you were a government employee?
Yes. Right? I was with them for years and years and years, and I was paying some unbelievable price. I went with some other company where I got it for half the price I was paying. Stayed with this company for a couple of years, and their price didn't seem to go down. I went back to them, and I got a cheaper price quoted for my insurance, less than what they were quoting me when I stopped with them for the same goddamn truck. So there's no such thing as loyalty. You got to shop around, people. You know?
I can tell you that. Progressive, I was with Progressive for like 5 years, and my insurance was like $500 every 6 months. And I switched to eSure because they offered it to me for $350. 6 months later, Verizon offered it to me, or not Verizon, shit. Progressive offered it to me again for $272 a month.
There you go. Yeah, but I suppose when you get as old as dirt as you are, Tony, it starts working in your favor, I guess.
Don't seem to.
No, I know what I'm saying. It doesn't. I mean, it just doesn't make sense for insurance companies. Then they plead poverty. Well, what in the hell did you do? I mean, good example. A good example is, I mean, here, Rhode Island, right? They, house insurance here. Back in, when was it? How long ago? How long ago was Storm Sandy? I mean, people talk about the New Jersey shore and everything else, but it absolutely buried our beach under 8 foot of sand, and they spent all winter and spring shoveling it out to get it ready to open up for Memorial Day weekend that summer, and they put the price of insurance up so high, some of the people went out of business because they couldn't afford the insurance premiums. But my argument is, well, what did you do with all the goddamn money you made all the years that didn't make a claim against? You know what I'm saying? That's my argument. Same with medical insurance. Goes up and up. Well, what about all the years I didn't make a goddamn claim? All the years I was fit and happy. You know? Didn't make a damn claim against it. Where'd all that money go that I was paying all these years? You know?
Well, theoretically,
don't get me started on insurance. I hate insurance companies with a passion.
theoretically they're supposed to be investing it to make bigger piles of money, so that when they do have to pay you, they got the money or have to pay out for you.
Yeah, but they claim they claim they had to pay out so much they have to increase your fees to recoup. It doesn't make sense. The only thing they're paying out is huge salaries to the big dogs, and the only person getting shafted is me. Bend over, let me shaft you without any Vaseline. Is how I feel.
Well, that's what I was trying to say about a lot of these companies that do insurance for firearms. They're not actually insurance companies. They're not licensed in any way for insurance. So what they're literally doing is they're taking money from you and just capitalizing on it for themselves. So if you guys do go look for insurance, for carry insurance or for your firearms, do a little bit of research before you just jump into it and grab a company, because there's a lot of companies out there that actually aren't even a license for insurance.
Good point. Good point. Let's see, 2 Live move. My homeowner is tripled after one claim. Yeah, doesn't surprise me. Where's all the money that they made off of you before you made the claim? That's what gets me. That's what gets me. So and these car insurance companies. I'm trying to think which one it is. They do got a commercial on up here right now. Accident forgiveness. We won't up your premiums after one claim. Well, God damn it, they shouldn't. I mean, I can understand if you insured with them on this Friday and you put a claim with them in on Monday because you had a wreck over the weekend. I can understand that. But if you've been with them for years and you put a claim in, then they jack your rates up. Oh, come on, please. You're just nothing but a bunch of robbing bastards.
Welcome to capitalism.
Yeah.
Now with car insurance, if you don't shop for a new car insurance every 6 months to a year, I guarantee you're paying way too much for car insurance.
Yeah,
because car insurance premiums change.
Oh, absolutely.
They change so frequently.
Oh, I agree. That's what I was saying when you were having trouble signing in there. That's what I was saying. I had Geico for years, and I quit, then went with somebody else. Then I went back with them with the same vehicle, and I got it for a hell of a lot less than the last premium I paid to them with the same vehicle. Loyalty don't mean crap anymore.
No, and it especially doesn't when it comes down to money. A lot of these companies profit so much on people who actually stay around and are willing to pay more money, like Verizon or T-Mobile, AT&T, Geico, Allstate, whoever you want to name. The longer that you stay with that company, the longer you're going to have to pay. Now, fortunately, like for us with my phone, I get grandfathered in because I've had the same plan for, I think, over 9 years. But with T-Mobile, their customer service has been some of the best out of the market. And I've only had to pay $40 a month for 2 lines. So that's $80 plus taxes, minus, phone payments and stuff like that, for unlimited minutes and data and all this stuff. Whereas if you go and try to get it now, it's $70 a line for the same thing. So the companies can do it. They're realizing that the market's opening up and people are less willing to go around and shop than they were years ago. And that's how a lot of these companies are making their money, because people are less willing to go around and actually do a little bit of legwork and find out who's cheaper. They're going to go to the first one that they go to. If the more Verizon commercials play on the internet or on their TV, or T-Mobile or AT&T or Geico, that's why these companies play so many commercials, to get their name embedded in your mind. And like, oh, well, I'm just going to go to Geico. The Lizard told me it's going to cost less, so I'll just go with them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're right. I mean, as I was saying earlier, I got Verizon on my cell phone. I've had them for 18 years. Yeah, I know I'm a mug, but the reason I did that, when I worked for the government for years, I would travel all over the places, and I noticed when I was traveling, I could go different states and stuff, and I wouldn't get these exorbitant charges for being out of the zone or whatever. And I noticed that when you go with some of these other companies, local companies, as soon as you get out of the zone or get out of the state, if you can get a phone call through, you're paying a hell price for it. And Verizon, now I must admit I haven't traveled in a long time, and I'm being lazy. I just stayed with Verizon. You know what I'm saying? And that's my own fault. But that's the reason I stuck with them for so long, for most of the time, because of my traveling. I could go from shining sea to shining sea, and it wouldn't cost me as much as it would with some other bozo company. Yeah. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So there you go.
I don't know, man. I've been on Verizon for a lot of years too. That's because they work right here, and most of the other ones do not.
Tony, they work everywhere. 10 years ago, I was in the middle of Death Valley, not Furnace Creek where the golf course and everything is. I mean, in the middle of nowhere, Death Valley. The phone rings. It's my auto mechanic letting me know what, because I left my truck with him to fix while I was on vacation. And I just start laughing. And he goes, "What's so funny?" I said, "You're not going to believe where I'm at right now." And, I mean, there was nothing in any direction for as far as you could see. No cell tower, no nothing. And somehow or another, it was able to work. And that was 10 years ago.
What company was that?
Verizon.
Yeah, Verizon is good in that sense. I mean, in this little locale where I'm at, Verizon is king. Second one is AT&T, right? And only problem is my friend has AT&T, and his call drops more times than mine. I don't think I rarely ever get a drop call. And normally if I get a drop call, it's because the person I'm talking to is not a Verizon person. And their line drops on me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is about this area. Let's see. Phoenix says it varies from state to state. Here in Ohio, anything other than Verizon, and you're pretty much screwed. Yeah, I reckon so too. Then Rich White says most of West Virginia cannot get a single on Verizon. Yeah, so you know, it's weird. It's weird how it works. You know, but there is money. I tell you, there's money in our gun range. Back to guns, real quick. We have a cell tower on our range. It takes up one little corner. It's all fenced in. It's a humongous cell tower. They pay us $3,000 a month rent for that space. You know, I thought, wow, let's put one in the backyard.
No shit. I was just thinking that.
Do you ever shoot at it, Rick? That's the question everybody wants to know.
No, I don't. I don't. Probably because it has a house backed up against the side of it, so we can't shoot at it. I think they put it there on purpose for that reason. Yeah, we got one neighbor because we sit out in the middle of the woods, and from a satellite image they took or picture, there's one house 450 yards away from the back of one of our pistol ranges, and that person claims that he gets bullets in his yard. I know a bullet can travel over a mile, but what he's saying is somehow somebody's shooting through the berm and it's going. The only possible thing I can think of is somebody's hitting the ground or something first, or going too high. Hit his, and it's skipping off a stone or something and going up and over. So I can't see how he's hitting his house when you have
If he's finding bullets in his yard, literally in his yard, he's got to be out there digging and using a metal detector, because there's no way any bullet that has enough energy to travel to his house is going to go at least 3 to 4 inches, if not more, into the soil.
Oh yeah.
So
wait, how far is his house?
450 yards.
Yeah, no, it can go that far. Gelsman, it can go that far and not embed itself in the berm. I've seen 5.56 bounce off of sand berm at over 500 meters. I've seen them embed too, but I've also seen them bounce off. It just depends on how it hits.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like that short of a distance, the whatever projectile is going to have enough energy to actually embed itself. It's not going to have so little that he's going to be out there strolling with his dog and just looking his grass and he's like, oh man, look at all these 9mm sitting around
Yeah,
here.
I mean, that's what I was thinking.
Well, yeah, 9mm wouldn't, but like a rifle round could either embed itself or bounce off. But the thing is, though, it would have to somehow or another climb over the berm. That's what I don't. If he's walking on the gun range side of it,
where it sits, we have it's a 12-foot high berm, and it's got to be at least 12 foot thick. I mean, it's a humongous thing, and that's the reason they made it that big.
Wait,
the house
it's only 12 feet high.
Yeah, might be higher, but I know it could be a little higher than that. But I would maybe 14.
Yeah, I'd want something really tall if there's houses beyond the impact zone. I'd be worried.
How tall would you reckon it should be?
20
At
feet
least
at
20.
least. Yeah.
Hey,
with trees planted on top if possible.
I'm going down there tomorrow. Let me look at it. Maybe my measurement's wrong.
I'm not saying it's some sort of code. I really have no idea. I'm just basing off of my experience, either working at a rifle range or shooting at a rifle range.
Maybe my measurement's all. Maybe, it's taller than I think it is, but it doesn't look that tall. It doesn't look 20 foot to me. But
I think our new berm at ours is 18 or 20 feet.
Well, maybe it is then. Maybe I have to relook at it and find. I have to look at it then and check it because.
You guys use berms?
So I know it's thick, and I know it's at least 12 foot thick. I know that much because I've driven around it.
Not shoot through the damn berm, I'm sure of that.
No, but you could, if you were pointing it high enough, you could go over it or something like that. You could hit it, and it could ricochet and go straight up, lose energy, and it's. I mean, I'd have to see this thing, but still, if he's like right on the other side, who was there first, his house or the gun range?
Gun range.
Yeah, well, he's SOL then, right?
That's why we looked at it. That's what he got. Mind you, he doesn't complain that often. This happened 2 or 3 years ago. Don't hear much from him now. They offered him free membership. Any house around the gun club gets free membership. Mainly because of the noise and stuff like that.
Well, that's the thing is he's probably either a disgruntled anti-gunner that doesn't want him around him and didn't realize that it was there until he moved in and started hearing the shots, or somebody was actually shooting at the top of the berm, skipping it, tumbling, because it's very possible at 12 to 16 feet with a home 450 yards that if they shoot to the top of it, it'll hit it, it'll lose energy, and it'll tumble like Squib said, and it could end up in his lawn and find projectiles.
That's what people were thinking, that somehow somebody wasn't, they weren't following the rules correctly, and they were either skipping it off the top of the berm or something like that, but they shouldn't have been aiming anyway.
Yeah, and then that just means they're a bad shot, or they jerked it a lot, I guess, or something. But otherwise, if you're going for marksmanship or practice, you're going to be at the target. And if you're shooting high, you're going to adjust your sights or something, to fix that. But
I didn't notice Night Strike dropped out. What happened to him? Oh well, that's all right.
That's his bedtime, maybe.
Maybe. So
he heard you could get $3,000 a month for a cell tower, and he's thinking about that land across the street, what he can do with it.
Yeah, more likely. Oh yeah.
Hello, Verizon. Hi.
I got the land with the tower on. Oh yeah. So I
got a deal for you.
Yeah, Black Cat says, "You sure that wasn't Night Strike shooting at your club?" It could have been. I know his aim's pretty bad. Oh, last time I watched him shoot a video, he didn't do too bad, actually. Nice strike. So there we go. No?
Now, wait a minute. We got a witness in the room. So, Tony, go ahead.
He did fine with my 45-70.
Okay, good enough for me.
He wasn't so good with the. I don't remember which single action I gave him, to be honest with you. No,
I think it was the black
45s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Rich. Get Verizon the fun gun tube. Rent some land for a tower on his property.
All right, so Night Strike did okay at the range as long as it wasn't a pistol because he closed his eyes the whole time. No, he actually did pretty good. I think he actually has an eye dominance problem. That might be one of his issues, so we might have to adjust or address that with him to see if he actually does. Because my wife has the same issue, and I noticed that she shoots any long gun, amazingly well, shotguns especially. But when you put her on her pistol, she has a hard time.
Yeah.
He's also a little timid about firing a gun he's never fired before. And that's not uncommon either.
Now, talking about that, I mean, when I first started shooting, of course, we've done the quick, simple eye dominance test, whatever. You know, I was originally I shot left-handed, but I'm right eye dominant, believe it or not. So I used to turn my head sideways so I could, do my thing. Now that I shoot with my right hand and right eye dominant, right, but I still turn my head slightly to look down the sights on the barrel. You know what I'm saying? I shoot with both eyes open too. You know.
I'm right eye down.
I can hit what I'm shooting at. I'm a damn good shot nowadays. Say so myself.
I'm right eye dominant, but I can shoot with either hand and either eye. I just have to do it for a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm definitely right eye dominant, and but I can shoot. I mean, I can hit my target with my left hand too. But I've got the amount of practice I do, or I'm damn good. I said in the winter months it's not so much, but now that the weather's breaking, I go back to what I was doing. I would go down my range 2 or 3 times a week because I'm only 6 miles away. You know, I'll go shoot maybe 100, maybe only shot 100 rounds, but I'll go shoot 100 rounds, come home, reload 100, go back the next day. You know, so I can hit what I'm shooting at. 25 yards and in, I'm deadly. I say so myself. Yeah. There you go.
I wish the fucking weather would break here.
That's why I claim I can shoot better than some of the police in our local town here. I've seen them shoot.
Well, I ain't saying much. Being a cop doesn't make him a good shot.
Well, see, that's where this is what gets me, is like a lot of these bills that are coming through the state. Like a good example, here in Rhode Island, as a concealed carry weapon, I can carry my gun from kindergarten to high school on school grounds, no problem. But they want to change that now. For someone, there has not been one incident in the whole state of Rhode Island that anything has happened with somebody, a civilian, carrying a gun on school property. But all of a sudden, it's a big problem. And they want to change that to only law enforcement. Back to what we're saying, Tony. I shoot better than our law enforcement. So what makes them any better than me that they can carry their gun on school property? Because they're wearing a uniform with a badge?
It's just a way that the antis have of getting gun control in.
Just because they're wearing a uniform does. I mean, some of these guys, the only time they pull their gun out is when they do their yearly test or bi-yearly test or whatever.
Yeah, but in the same regard, if somebody breaks into your house and you're in fear for your life and you defend yourself with a firearm and you shoot and kill that intruder, and that intruder is a criminal. You know, he's got a rap sheet, and there's definitely an unlawful entry, such, etc. You're going to jail. You're getting thrown in cuffs. Your firearm's getting confiscated, and who the heck knows what else going on. Now, if you're an off-duty cop and you're at home and the exact same thing happened, and you do the exact same thing, they're going to give you a pat on the back, probably tell you they got to take your gun for evidence, and you're going to go down to the station, fill out the paperwork, probably on the clock, and you're going to go back home the next morning and everything will be fine. Now, how is that fair? What's the difference? What's the difference?
There's no difference, really. You know. Also, I've noticed too, and you see this in a lot of these other things, is normally when it's a police-involved shooting, the policeman doesn't have to talk about that shooting for 24 hours, but they expect us to talk about it right then and there. You know? They're allowed 24 hours to gather their thoughts and make sure they don't say anything to incriminate themselves. But they expect us to blabber at the mouth trying to drop a dime on our own selves, you know, while we shot somebody. Screw them is what I say.
You know, a lot of that goes back to your individual state's attorney. County versions or state versions, either one, on how they want that sort of stuff prosecuted.
Yeah. Black Cat says, hang on, I still close one eye for bullseye shooting at longer ranges. Yeah.
I've never been one to really preach about that sort of thing. I don't care if you close one eye when you shoot. So what?
Well, I was taught to shoot with both eyes open. As I said, I only got into guns, 2.5 years ago. And from day one, from my very first lesson, I was told to shoot with both eyes open. And I found it so hard to do. So what we used to do, because I wear glasses, as you can tell, is we used to put masking tape over my lens on my left eye. I kept my eye open, but I could only use my right eye to see with until I got used to sitting with both eyes open. Now I can look down the barrel, and that left eye doesn't get in the way anymore.
I'm not shooting
now.
When it's a bright sunny day, I can't keep my left eye open.
Now, when I was doing combat instructing in pistol classes and stuff, Rick,
yeah,
I would actually not suggest somebody to get away from their dominant eye, because what happens is when you get in a situation of stress and you immediately go to your dominant instinct. So like me, I'm left eye dominant, right-handed. I shoot both eyes open, but I shoot left eye dominant. I basically aim with my left eye with both eyes open. It's a hard concept for some people to grasp, but once you get it, you'll notice that you actually shoot pistol a lot better with both eyes open, and you have a lot more cognizance around you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's where when I was taught, originally, I should restate, when I was first taught to shoot, don't forget, I was taught to shoot left-handed because I am left-handed naturally, but I'm right eye dominant. So we used to block out the left eye with the tape so I could shoot with. Now I can shoot. When I shoot, even today when I shoot left-handed, right, my right eye takes over automatically. So I don't shoot left-handed that often because my hand doesn't have, after the accident and the operation, doesn't have the strength in it to hold the gun up that long anymore. That's why I went to the right hand.
Right, and there's a lot of instructors that are out there who want you to get to the point to where you shoot with the correct eye of what your hand dominant.
Oh, yeah.
And through experience, I found that that's actually incorrect. That's the wrong way to go. So I urge people to go out there, if you are going to take classes, to just kind of do what feels right to you. And if your instructor insists something, try something first, but then go to someone else who has a different ideal about things, and try every single way possible and do what actually feels comfortable to you. Because in a stressful situation, whatever's the most comfortable and what your body reacts to naturally is what you should do.
Oh yeah, my instructor.
I agree with you, Gelsma. I think there's too many people out there saying you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Well, hold up. I'm going to do what works for me. Now, if I'm doing this and I'm not getting good results, at that point, I need to try something else. And when you try it, if it's uncomfortable, you got to give it an open-minded try. You got to practice at it until you get it to where maybe it's more comfortable. And if it doesn't work, like you're saying, Gelsma, go to another instructor, try something else. But I don't like these instructors or other shooters, and they look at you and they go, "You're doing it wrong." Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you want me to grip it the way you grip it? You want me to line up the sights the way you know? I mean, if you're hitting the target and you're comfortable, you're doing it just fine. So don't worry about it, Rick.
Yeah. Oh no, and I mean I remember, and they all say, you know, well, oh, you're left-handed, but you're right-handed. Oh, you got to shoot. You got to shoot with your right hand. Well, luckily my instructor said, no, you don't. We just teach you to, you know, the line that right eye, you know, used to go looking. But unfortunately, because of the accident and the operation, I had to learn to shoot right-handed anyway. I wasn't, you know, so I done it not because I had to. I did it because I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? I could have kept on shooting with the left, but I just can't hold a gun anymore that well anymore. That's the only reason I went to the right.
Well, if you go into it with no experience, whether it be handgun or long gun, and you have somebody with experience show you, and that way is the first way you learn, and it works, or it's what you know best because that's what you started off with, and then years later somebody tries to get you to go to something else. It's really hard to switch. But, you know, like I said, if it's been working, if you can make it work, don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah. Now, I do shoot long gun left-handed. I cannot, for some unknown reason, I learned and persevered. I suppose I could have persevered with it enough, but I can hold a gun in my right hand, aim it and shoot it and draw it and all this and holster it and all this, no problem. But throw a rifle up to my right shoulder, oh my God, it feels so cack-handed and awkward. You know, throwing it up to my left, no problem whatsoever.
You know, that always struck me as odd because I can shoot with either hand, either way.
Yeah. Well, you must be one of those ambidextrous. Is that what's the word I'm looking for? Person? Can you write?
Not in any freaking aspect.
You know? No, I can't. I mean,
see, I'm right-handed. If I put my rifle on my left shoulder, it feels weird. But I can shoot a bow right-handed or left-handed, and I can't tell you why. And I'm not ambidextrous.
Funny
it's just
as hell.
Yeah, but there you go. So anyway, guys, it's just gone 8, and I believe our buddy Clover is up next, and then after him is Never Enough Ammo on his Mr. Matt channel. So, you know, I want to say thank you all for being here, and I appreciate you all stopping by. I really do appreciate it, and I'm gonna go. It's 8 o'clock. Because it starts at 7. I'm a late eater. I don't eat early. I normally eat between 6 and 7 o'clock. Since I started at 7, I haven't eaten yet. So I'm going to go cook myself some Italian sausage, throw it in a grinder. That's what I'm going to do.
Thank you for the invite.
What?
I said thank you for the invite.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I thank you guys for joining me. You guys got anything to say before we close it down?
Thanks for helping me get through second shift.
No problem. Anytime. Anyway, I want to say thank you to Sean, Patriot, Phoenix, the Gun Guy 94, Raphael, Dead Horse, Tony. Who else did we have in the chat? All kinds of people. 2 Live Moo. Rich. Thank you all for joining in. Black Cat. Thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate it. And we will see you all on Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern.